everybody, and welcome to the 11th episode of CRINGECAST. My name is Mr. Losers, and joining with me in person again is...
the Kawaii Wrestler.
Alright, and since we're finally, since Samurai Jack has ended, we're scrounging for things to talk about, so let's just talk about some popular stuff. Today we watched the first two episodes of Mrs. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and that's something that's pretty popular, so we thought we'd watch that and talk about it. So, what were your thoughts on the show, first of all, Kawaii Wrestler?
I mean, I've watched a lot of analysis videos by other YouTubers, so I kind of had an idea. I saw the clips and stuff, but yeah, pretty good show. I like the humor. Whether it's the actual show or the translation, it got pretty savage sometimes.
Yeah, there's definitely some funny stuff in the subs and everything.
There's other girls in the office you can invite. But you're one of the guys, though.
She got friend zoned. Yeah, this is for me. I usually don't watch. I actually watch a lot less anime than most people. I read a lot more manga. I'm kind of team manga over here. Yeah. But as far as this is kind of the first anime I've watched like this, which is fun. It's kind of funny to watch because I feel like we see this sort of plot a lot in shonen, where it's a guy meets some big-breasted, super-powered woman, and then he forms a harem, and they go on fights together and stuff. This is kind of the opposite, where it's kind of like a comedy, where it's sort of the same idea, but the main character is a woman, and she's not really going out and fighting or anything. She's just sort of trying to live a day-to-day life. Yeah, right. So, I mean, that's where I guess a lot of the comedy comes from, is, of course, the fact that this is this super magical being, and she's just trying to adjust to
normal life.
Yeah, but I thought it was really it's cool because I used to read a lot of, you can see over there actually, Kawaii Wrestler could see, or Rosario plus Vampire, and I think that's sort of an example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's just a pure by the numbers harem show.
Yeah, harem show, and the manga too is a lot more action packed than the show. The show is more comedic, but the manga is more like a straight up shonen where it's them going out and fighting and stuff. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean it's sort of I've read a lot of stories like that. Guy meets ghoul, where it's a guy meets some girl with superpowers. They go off and have adventures, but this is the first time where I've seen one that's a lot more comedy based, and I really liked it. Definitely gonna have to watch more when we get on another episode.
Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Losers here, he's going to India because his parents or his grandparents just told him that. Yeah,
for those of you who don't know, I'm actually half Dune-kun over here. I'm going to the designated shitting street, and we'll figure out how it's going to be. But no, seriously, kind of a minor family emergency. I won't get into details, but my grandparents the other day were just like, "Oh yeah, you're going to India tomorrow, and now I got to drop everything." And actually, I would have gone yesterday, and we wouldn't have had CRINGECAST for 2 whole weeks. But we got lucky because what I'm doing is going to New Jersey.
Oh god, that's worse than India.
The hellscape that is New Jersey. And then there's a flight that goes from New Jersey all the way to Delhi. But there were thunderstorms here in Maryland yesterday and in New Jersey, so my flight got canceled. And I'm leaving today at 4:20. So I'm gonna blaze it all the way over, Get some Hindu Kush.
Yeah, right. Yeah, is weed legal in India?
I actually don't. I mean, I guess it kind of must be. It's kind of like we were discussing before. It's kind of like that third world country almost. So I'm sure even if it's illegal, no one's gonna do anything.
Yeah, right. Cops aren't gonna.
Yeah, no one's gonna be like, "Hey, are you smoking weed?" And if you do, you just hand them the equivalent of 5 cents in America, and they're like, "I'm rich."
Yeah, right. You can just bribe the police guys.
Police. And they're just gonna leave. Oh my god, though. I guess this will be a topic that we discuss more. But I've been to India twice in my life. Once when I was very young, and then more recently, 4 years ago, right when I graduated high school.
Right, so that was your first time in India? Well, I mean,
that was my first time that I remember. Yeah. It's very interesting over there. One of the first things you notice when you move or when you go to visit a country like that is the traffic is just hell. My god.
Yeah, you see the videos of everyone going in an intersection.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's funny because in Maryland, everyone complains that Maryland drivers are bad, and I think compared to the rest of the U.S., we are pretty
we're pretty
drivers.
Inconsistent. I'd say
pretty inconsistent drivers. But when you go to some place like India, it's like, fuck, Maryland drivers are fucking saints
right.
compared to these people. It's funny because like no one even like uses their turn signal or anything. Everyone just like
Well, that's not. That's that happens in Maryland too.
yeah, but like it's just like there's no disregard for like safety or anything. And the other thing is everyone's honking. Everyone is
Really?
honking all the time. Yes, there's just you constantly hear horns. There's never a time where you're not hearing horns when you're in that country.
Really?
My gosh, yes. Oh, the other thing to note, I guess, about it is there's animals everywhere. I guess
Oh yeah.
it's funny because I had a teacher in high school, and she's kind of SJW-esque, and she was like,
Yeah.
I went to Ghana, and the first thing I got asked by all you white people when I came back was, do you see lots of tigers? And I'm like, that's so racist. But it's weird because, like, in India, like, that's what you see. Like, you see elephants out on the street. You see, like, cows. When I was in the capital, there was fucking monkeys right next, I said monkeys.
Yeah.
Fucking monkeys right next to these, just like the like guards of the capital and
God,
stuff.
monkeys are the worst.
Yeah.
Like, you have to like get some sort of bat or something to drive them away because they'll steal your shit.
It's crazy though, just how close they are to everyone. But anyways, I'll have probably way too much to say about the country when I come
Yeah,
back.
you're gonna be there for what, 9 days?
Yeah, 9 days. I leave tonight. I think technically I don't know. Maybe I get there today in their time or tomorrow in their time. But when I come back, I leave on June 5th, and I actually come back the morning of June 6th.
No, like they're ahead of us right now. So you'll be. So
I think I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah, but
or maybe
about
like you'll skip a day. Maybe.
About 9 days. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure I'll have so much to talk about the week of June 6th and everything. So let's just actually discuss the anime since we went ahead and watched it.
Yeah, now back to the anime that we're supposed to be discussing. Yeah, I feel like 2 episodes was fine. Like
good amount to understand the plot and everything. So I guess we'll do our usual summary real quick. We'll make it a little bit faster this time.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like this like show is like very like clip driven. It's like scenario.
It's kind of hard to summarize, but so it'll be quick. I mean, basically all that happens is that this dragon named Toru shows up at this woman named Kobayashi's house, and apparently Kobayashi saved Toru, who had been stabbed by some sword, and so Toru feels like she's in debt to Kobayashi, and she's fallen in love with Kobayashi, which is a cool little maybe hint at some Yuri that's gonna happen.
Yeah, right. Or at least
just some. I think more for comedic effect, but still.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, she decides to become her maid, and basically the show for that first episode basically just talking about how Toru is very unaccustomed to regular human life, and so that's where most of the comedy comes from. Like she does a lot of funny things like regarding to like her maid duties. At first she's like clean the house, and so she incinerates everything and then uses magic to bring it back all clean. It's funny because it's like, couldn't you just use your magic to make everything clean in the first place? When Kobayashi asks for her to cook for her, she literally just cooks her own tail for Kobayashi. And lots of stuff happens in that first episode, mostly just humor. I think we can get after that after we discuss. I'll quickly summarize the second episode. So the changes in the second episode are that it's sort of hinting at a harem, although I think based on the opening, it's going to be that different characters get different maids, because you see like clips of a little girl with this second dragon, but a second dragon comes along named I think it's her name's like Kana Kamui.
I think like Kana, yeah.
Yeah, Kana's her first name, or maybe her last. Sometimes I get confused how this works in Japanese. But anyways, Kana's like a little girl. That's your loli. That's how you form the harem.
Yeah,
you gotta have
gothic Lolita.
Yeah, you gotta have one character who your main girl has gotta be like attractive. She gotta have
like
big
hot
boobs,
and
but
and like good personality.
Yeah, and then you gotta get a loli in there, and then you gotta get the one with humongous breasts.
Yeah, right.
And then there's usually a fourth one that's like again in the middle, but there's something else that's different about them.
Yeah, they all have to be like caricatures and like, different in some different way.
Yeah, it's kind of like that in Rosario plus Vampire, because it's like first he gets the average girl as like his main one, and then gets the big breasted succubus, and then he gets this Lolita witch. Yeah. But anyways, so there's a second character now, and I think we're gonna learn more. She's sort of just introduced in this episode, but I can definitely see that they're probably gonna have way more jokes with her, where it's gonna involve her personality. Some of the humor in the second episode has to do with Toru sort of pretending that she's an expert of everything, and kind of brings up stuff, and then it's clear that Toru doesn't really have a fully understanding of a lot of human stuff that's going on.
Right.
That's part of the humor of the second episode. So let's, I guess, just talk about what we liked about the show and the humor and everything. So you watch some analysis videos. They talk about what they liked about the show and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can barely remember it now,
Just when you need it. It's
right. But just like how, like you can tell that the show like has like a good script and like good writing behind it, and like the production is all good, and like there's a lot of heart in it. And it definitely shows because like the comedy is pretty on point though. Yeah,
I think that's the main thing with that's the main thing that anime was sort of lacking in. I think we're getting back more recently. There's a lot of complaints that it felt like lots of animes were just like, I think I saw, it was just like a clip, I don't know if it was real or not, but it was like a writer who's like, we want to write really serious animes, but a lot of times the network just wants us to do this, and we don't have support from the artists. And then there's an artist, like a storyboard artist or whatever, he's like, I just want to draw cute anime girls, so whatever they give me I'll do. So it's kind of like, but I guess it feels like, that's one of the things I heard a lot about One Punch Man. A big compliment a lot of people gave it was that it seems like the people behind it really have a lot of heart. They really are enjoying the story they're making, and it's not just a case where they're just sort of working on whatever they think is going to be popular.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's like kind of the problem with the anime industry, is that like, because like there's not too much money in it, they kind of have to do like with what's worked in the past. So yeah,
there's lots of
it's just a hard business model to succeed, because there's obviously tons of anime that doesn't like make money. So whatever works you have to keep doing. And like comedy shows, like
slice of life, it's usually like slice of life comedies, girls, cute anime girls, big boobs. It's like the most common.
Right. Those those generally, I guess, make money enough that there's just so many of them. So
because I think people just enjoy. I think one of the things about anime is it's so trope heavy, and I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's something that the anime community is starting to sort of notice, and you get shows like One Punch Man that sort of defy these tropes, or they sort of, the whole point is to be subversive. But I think that's a kind of a problem with anime, is you get, like we just said, we could kind of, and hopefully it proves this wrong to an extent, but with the Mrs. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, it's sort of like we can list out what characters are going to come up. We kind of expect them at this point.
Yeah. Well, already the show the show has more emotional stuff in there already. Like
I mean, it seems like it's not just trying to BS us. It seems like it's it's trying to put forth an effort to actually care about what it's putting out and stuff. Yeah. And I like a lot of the comedy so far. I mean, it's kind of like if you had, so often in anime we see stories where it's like characters with super strong powers and stuff, but this is one where it's like, if they were in just like a regular average everyday Japan, how would they react, and how they do this? Because there's a scene in the second episode where Kana and Toru they decide to play, and they go to this big empty field, and when they play, it's actually like this it's like this DBZ level fight where they're blasting each other with energy, and they're going, and there's like all this insane action that's going on. And it's funny to think about that, like, so often we watch these animes where that's the main goal, is just to show us that action. Right. And here it's played more for laughs.
Yeah, and then they say like that they are like going easy.
Oh yeah, they're just roughhousing a bit. They're not even really doing all that much. Mm-hmm. But that's where a lot of the comedy comes from. Later on in that episode, they see a seesaw, and once Kobayashi explains how a seesaw is played with, they're playing with it, but they're like, since they're dragons, they're like slamming down on it, flying all the way up into the sky and coming back down, which is fun. It's funny because I also like the fact that the characters are entertained by all this kind of simple stuff.
Yeah,
Like
right.
it could be easy for them to just be like, oh, this is boring. Like, why is this human stuff here? It's all so stupid. But I like the fact that they're being entertained by all this really simple stuff, and it's not constantly just like
Yeah.
humans are dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's like that like was a like easy direction that they could have taken this. It's like, but no, it's like, humans, we have worth, and our stuff isn't as flashy as like,
Superpowers,
fantastical
yeah.
stuff, but it works, and doesn't mean it doesn't have worth. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to comment about was the second episode. There's this really short clip of they're watching this ninja show on TV, and maybe if any of you guys are fans of the show, you can let us know. There's this. It's cool because like the animation for the ninja show is like a '90s anime, but then of
like
course
the thick lines and like
yeah,
like
yeah, it's just a lot less. The colors are more dull and stuff.
yeah,
But it's just really cool, and I was wondering if that's like they did that because that'd be amazing if they went ahead and like actually put the effort to like make it look that way,
yeah.
or if they just got some stock footage. But either way,
No, I bet they made it because it was like a really short clip.
yeah, yeah. So I feel like it wouldn't be too hard for them to make that. But that was really cool. I mean, it was something so minor, but I just appreciate that a lot. Yeah, and I guess they're hinting at maybe a deeper, maybe not like anything action packed, but I think they're hinting at a bit of a deeper story because, Torah is sort of having this. Toru, I said Torah by accident. the Jewish Bible is having trouble. Toru is having
right.
she's having these sort of nightmarish dreams where I think she's remembering how she was injured. And something I guess forgot to mention is it seems that the dragons are from a separate world and they come to the human world. And it's also that humans from the other world have superpowers or magical abilities, but of course the ones in the regular everyday world don't.
Yeah, right.
So maybe they'll hint at something bigger happening. I mean, I don't expect like it to turn into DBZ or anything, or like a shonen or anything. But it'd be cool to see if it gets into some more serious territory towards the end and stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. I think like the final episode or two, like that kind of is brought in, but it's not like too important.
Yeah,
it's
I can
still
see
like
that.
other more relationship stuff that matters.
Yeah. I think it's cool that it'll be, more relationship driven and more focused on character development and everything. I could see, Toru changing a lot already, to an extent.
Yeah.
She talked about how humans were very inferior in the first episode.
Yeah, right, like kept using that phrase.
Yeah.
Like weak and inferior.
Weak and inferior, except for Mrs. Kobayashi is what she'd always say.
Yeah.
She has a crush on her. But like at the same time she would she is very like kind to people in general, and she's very nice to lots of humans that she meets.
Yeah, right.
In the end of the first episode too, there's a scene where Kobayashi gets drunk and she's like humans are really scary because Kobayashi's like going off on Toru about her outfit and if she's a good maid or not for her. And that was a funny scene too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was kind of funny because like Toru was about to like destroy this one guy, like the guy character.
Yeah, that she suspects is trying to seduce Miss Kobayashi.
Yeah, so it's fun how like this being that's like super powerful is brought in check by a drunk lady.
Yeah, who just tells her to strip.
Yeah, right.
I just used a regular picture of the first image of the show that comes up when you search it up, but I should have gotten some real clickbait in there for this.
Oh, really?
I try not to clickbait you guys, but maybe I should.
I don't know. I want Mr. Loser to clickbait.
Everyone clickbaits, but I try to be above it, but I don't know. Yeah, right. It's like, well, how above it can you really be when everyone does it?
Yeah.
Clickbait's so even good channels clickbait. I'm pretty firm believer in that.
I mean, you can't even like make money on YouTube ads anymore. You have to like get patrons. So
yeah,
we're gonna have to start that soon if we ever get more than one person following our podcast.
I still only have you and my girlfriend are my only subscribers. sometimes people watch the podcast, but we haven't gotten a single comment. Anyways.
Yeah, right.
So.
You know, he does have to sell out more. It's obvious.
Yeah. It reminds me of I actually haven't watched it, but I heard a lot about the first Thor movie. It kind of had a similar comedy style when it was using comedy, where it's like Thor is
it's like fish out of water.
Regular, fish out of water sort of thing.
I like this drink. I'll have another.
Yeah, it gives me some of that kind of that same vibe where it's like, you know.
Yeah, someone's like from a fantastical world with powers.
But they sort of enjoy these simple things that humans enjoy. Like in the second episode too, Kana she gets to eat a crepe and ice cream, and
shouts really well animated.
Yeah, shouts out to the people who drew that crepe. That crepe looked fucking delicious.
Yeah, it had the group the
strawberries and like the cream coming off and stuff.
Yeah, it was like shiny, there's like a syrup or something glistened on it.
Yeah. Scenes of cute girls eating cute food.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird how Japan has a whole industry based on that. Cute girls doing cute things.
Yeah. I mean...
Hey, you know what? I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining. No lollies over here, but...
Yeah, right.
It's funny, too, I actually... there's this one... I might have mentioned... I don't know if I talked to you about. Actually, I don't think I did. But there's this one artist I really like. His name is Mr. He works with this really famous artist. If you guys... I don't know if anyone's in the streetwear scene. Probably not. But there's this very famous Japanese artist named Takeshi Murakami who's done collaborations with like Louis Vuitton and stuff. And he has a movie. We should watch that sometime and talk about it. But he's a pretty well-known kind of Japanese artist. But... a big thing about him is he reacts to the otaku culture. There's an interview with him where he talks about he designed one of Kanye West's album covers, and there's this interview where he talks about how Kanye came and watched one of his artworks, and I have to show this to the choir wrestler afterwards because it's really funny to think about Kanye, like this really famous guy talking about this and like really enjoying this artwork.
Yeah.
But since it's a lot about he reacts to Takeshi Murakami, he reacts to a lot of otaku culture. He has this one, it's like a life-size sculpture of this anime girl with humongous breasts. Her breasts are out, and her milk is spurting so that it's going around her, and she's like going to use it as a jump rope, if that makes sense.
Jesus.
And he has another similar one where it's a guy character, and he has a fully erect penis. He's ejaculating and using it as a lasso. It's this life-size sculpture. That's the type of stuff where it's like, people react to it, and there's all those Japan, only in Japan memes. One of those instances.
It's like the picture of like, it's like all the countries that don't produce anime, and then like it's like the rest of the world except Japan. Then like in red, it's like countries that have been nuked.
Twice. Yeah. But it's funny because the whole thing about that, I was going to talk about Mr., but let me go on a little quick tangent and talk about this thing with Kanye. It's funny because apparently Kanye met with Takeshi Murakami, and he saw that piece with the girl using her milk as a jump rope. And Takeshi Murakami was like, Kanye took maybe 200, 500 pictures, and then he said, "This is fresh. This is fresh."
Only Kanye.
It's just funny to think about. I mean, Kanye's an anime fan. He says his favorite movie is Akira. We watch it together, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, what's funny is that he works, his protege, Mr., did a music video with Pharrell. And Mr. is like a self-admitting lolicon. And he draws all these, like... pictures where it's just like little girls and stuff, and he says that this is his fantasies, but he keeps it inside. He just uses it for art and stuff. It's cool though. It's really interesting to think about that. It's such a widespreading thing that there's a Pharrell music video where he's like, I have to actually show you this, but if you guys want to look it up, it's the It Girl music video. It was directed by Mr. Ed. Pharrell is like, it's like as if Pharrell was in a dating sim, and he like. Since Mr. is the director, he asks out the loli girl. It's like Pharrell asks out the little girl. He like gives her a yukata and stuff. It's really awesome to watch. But
that's funny.
Anyways, it's just funny how widespread that culture is, and like how anime just influences like everyone at this point. Like, and we even have these rappers that have anime influenced, music videos and everything.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, though, yeah, the show, I'm liking it so far. We had to take a break to talk about it, but I was actually willing to watch a third, fourth episode.
Right.
That's because the third episode, that's when they're gonna introduce the one with the biggest breasts. That's the one you gotta watch. I was like, oh shit! Finally, she's coming into play. I was like, all right.
Yeah, right.
That's why I suggested to you before. I was like, let's watch a third episode.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like the theme song, like gives away all the characters. So.
Yeah. It's funny how they do that. They always give away the. It's funny because I kind of wish they didn't do that. When I was I guess it hints more at like what you're gonna see. But when I was a kid, I remember the Digimon. I think it was like the third Digimon. I think that's Digimon Tamers. I want to say what they would do, which was really cool, which is there would be a clip in the theme song where they show the Digimon evolving to their ultimate form or whatever, but they'd have them in silhouette until the episode that they actually were shown, and then of course after that. Then they wouldn't be in silhouette anymore.
Yeah, that's definitely cool when like they alter a theme song based on what's happening. Like, there's this Avengers show called Earth's Mightiest Heroes, back in like 2010.
I think I heard about it.
Yeah. So one thing that they would do is like after they would like in the theme song at the end they would always show like the current lineup of the Avengers. Like, who's actually on the team.
Like, yo, that makes sense.
And, like, it'll change, because, like, people left and joined the Avengers. So that was always cool. Because, like, I didn't notice it at first, but then I was like, oh, wait, so they're in there now? It's like, oh, so, like...
Yeah. I love to see shows do that more often. Even if it was just as simple as, like, making a character in silhouette until we see them.
Yeah, right.
Because,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like that must not be too difficult to do. Like, I don't know.
No, I mean, in the end, it's like... Yeah, you fix it by just having like a theme song without only the characters that matter until like they do, I guess.
Yeah, until they reveal more. It's like recently, not that recently, but I rewatched the original Naruto. I skipped all the filler, but I watched Naruto again. Yeah. And in that, I don't know which theme it is, but it's like the Fighting Dreamers one. There's a scene where they're all running, and then there's like the girls and the yukatas in the background, and Jiraiya stops and looks at Kurenai. But then after Tsunade is part of the show, it keeps going, and then Tsunade and Shizune come up after Kurenai, and Jiraiya stops and looks at them instead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I always thought that was really cool. Like, just stuff when they do simple stuff like that, where they show off, that the show has changed, and you can recognize that in the theme song, even if it's just something minor like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I just wish that, more shows would do that. Because it's, like, shows, like, level of effort and care into, like, the details of the show. That when you, like, notice it as a fan, you're like, oh, wow, so they put in that little thing because, our fans would catch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
and it's crazy,
incentive.
especially in the age of the internet. Everyone's catching this shit now. Yeah. It's like... Which is, it's crazy how much the internet can, like, just influence and like change just how everything works. It's really interesting. The other day I was thinking, I'll just briefly talk about this, but like I feel like a lot of horror games are coming, a lot of indie horror games that really they're so little known about them, like Bendy and the Ink Machine and like Five Nights at Freddy's. They're very focused on telling these very vague stories where you don't really know what's going on. And I feel like that can only work in today's day and age where we have people who are going to search out every nook and cranny and they're going to like find out every Easter egg. I feel like a game like Five Nights at Freddy's could only have gotten popular in recent years where it would end up developing a fan base that would look and actually care really heavily about what the story is and figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, there's only like little hints and stuff. I don't know. Five Nights at Freddy's, though, that's like also this idea of the animatronics and like the actual like characters.
Yeah. It's crazy how big that became.
Yeah, apparently they're gonna make some sort of movie.
I heard about that.
Although, who knows? Like, the problem with like things in today's culture, though, is just that things go out of style so quickly, though.
Yeah, it's like something gets popular and then goes away. And then the other thing is, when things stick around, it's like a mess. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's is like, at first I was like on board. I was like, this is pretty cool, but then like after like 4 sequels within the span of like 2 years, I was like, okay, well, this is a bit too much. I'm
and
kind
then
of
there's
tired
all
of
the
hearing
spin-off
about it.
games anyway.
Yeah, it's like you get kind of tired of hearing about stuff. That's sort of, I think we discussed before, like when fan bases can be bad. Like I feel like the same thing has sort of happened with me and Undertale and Steven Universe. I definitely would have played Undertale. I probably still will eventually, but I feel like I heard about it so much.
Like
that
it is such,
shied
it
away
is like
from
a
it.
good game though. So
Yeah, it's I'm doing a disservice by not playing it, but I feel like I hear it so often that I almost want to avoid it for I don't know whatever reason. And the same thing with Steven Universe. It's sort of happening with Rick and Morty almost. I feel like I see Rick and Morty so often, and everyone's just talking about how great of a show it is that I'm kind of like I feel like I just have to be contrarian. Like
so in the end, Mr. Losers, I think I know what the problem is. You're a hipster, and you like things only when they're not cool.
I am a little hipster. I try to be a little hipsterish, just a bit. But I mean, I also hate hipsters, so I don't know. Like I try to be hipster about manga. Like only manga I reviewed so far is one that literally has no other videos about it on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
No other like reviews about it. I was trying to be so hipsterish with that. I was like, oh yeah, no one's talking about it. I read it. It's such a hidden gem, guys. Oh, I'm real cultured over here. I know about this.
I don't know. I think I like it when stuff gets popular, but I am kind of a hipster though. Like
I mean, I feel like you can hear about something so much that it starts to like get on your nerves.
Yeah.
Like just the fact that like I feel like I just can't avoid something almost is when it's like a bad thing. But I don't know. Maybe I'll get over it.
Yeah, I mean, don't go shitting on Rick and Morty after all. That's going to be our revenue stream.
Oh yeah, that's the only one that I think has gotten us that much money. By that much money, I mean like 5 cents.
Yeah, right. Hey, those 5 cents add up. Yeah.
If we do 100 Rick and Morty episodes, then we get $5.
Yeah.
Do 1,000, we get $50, and then do 2,000, and then maybe YouTube will finally cash out.
Yeah, right. I mean,
we get $100, split it between the two of us, $50 each.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, 2,000, just 199, 999, 1,999.
Yeah. Since we have, just keep going that keep.
But the thing is, the revenue would go up though because we would get viewers eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
One thing I'm hoping is what I'll do. One thing I've been thinking about is when I'm in India, I'll be with my grandmother, and last time I was there, she got sick, so I spent a lot of time indoors. So I brought a lot of sketching material. I'm hoping to draw a lot. Maybe I can if I get really good at drawing maybe I can draw our own clickbait. That way, I'd love to do that. That'd be the best. Just
right.
Because then I could be like, oh well, I drew this, so of course this is a thumbnail.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to make money, you could actually make a Patreon based on your drawing.
Yeah, people do that. I'm watching this guy, Mikey Mega Mega, and I guess you probably haven't heard of him because he just does drawing videos and Let's Plays. But he draws lots of like big-breasted anime girls.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's his whole thing. I was watching a video the other day where he explains how to draw the torso. He's like I'm so glad you guys gave me feedback, and now I know what you guys want to learn how to draw. You want to learn how to draw boobs, bums, legs, the works.
Yeah, right. The most important aspects.
But he's like, first we gotta learn the torso before you get into all that. But it's just funny because someone commented, do you know who Mark Crilly is? He's like the most famous anime how to draw YouTuber. He's like, someone commented, Mark Crilly and Sophie Chan, they're great. But if you want to know who's going to really teach you what you really want to draw, you got to get into Mikey Mega Man. He's going to show you what you really want. Because, Mark Crilly and stuff, and I guess Sophie Chan, I've never watched any of your stuff, but they're just like, I remember watching a Mark Curley video and he's like teaching you how to draw a woman, and then he's like does the breast. He's like, now in a lot of anime, this is my Mark Curley impression. Now in a lot of anime they show you how to draw breasts very large, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna get really ridiculous. I want to keep it within the space of realism right here.
Yeah.
If any of you watch Mark Curley, I hope that was a funny impression. And he always holds his pencil in that weird way where he's like, it's like with these fingers, and then he puts his other finger here. It's like this. But he's like a really good artist, so
Really?
None of you can see that.
So was he being sarcastic when he did that? Like, was he like drawing out, crazy?
No, he wasn't.
Really?
That's just how he sounds. My impression made him sound sarcastic.
Yeah,
well,
right.
that's sort of.
I mean, that would be like a good parody idea.
Yeah.
Like, just be like, I like to keep things within reason, and then like drawing the most crazy shit,
Yeah.
like
drawing the Takeshi Murakami statue where she's squirting
Yeah,
out the
right.
milk and using it as a fucking jump rope. My God. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I mean, if we really wanted to expand the channel, we could get cameras after all,
I'm hoping to eventually be able to.
so
work
people
on the
could
money.
see our ugly faces and maybe
Yeah.
like our pity or something.
Yeah. Comment how ugly we are.
Yeah,
Well.
dude, you guys are terrible, man. I'd look terrible.
Just like comments like God to his angels. How should I make this human? The angels. Make sure he gets no bitches ever. Say no more, fam. Just to say no more, fam. Those fucking memes.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's crazy the hairstyles people get, and then like what they come up with, like what's the one Dragon Ball Z one where it's like
Just make sure I'm trying to go fight Frieza. Say
it's
no
like
more, fam.
and it's
Yeah.
like Super Saiyan.
Yeah. It's like what you want. It's like just make sure I never get any bitches for the rest of my life ever. Say no more, fam, and then just like a fucked up. Just throw the clippers at me. Say no more, fam.
Oh yeah, then there's it's like the SJW with like the short hair. It's like, what do you want? It's like, I want people to know that I'm offended by everything.
Oh yeah, she's got like a really short bowl cut, and it's like
yeah, it's like
pink.
purple. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then she's wearing
She's got like thick
glasses.
glasses. Yeah. My gosh. Yeah, I mean we got pretty off topic, but
I mean, yeah, that's the thing about like these
Podcasts,
comedy episodes too. It's like
it's hard to talk about something when it's like very clip heavy, but I mean that's I think also makes it easier to spread because it's like you just take a clip out of context, post it on YouTube, and people are like, oh, this show is awesome, and this girl has big boobs. Where can I watch this?
yeah, right.
What is this called, guys? Or yeah, I mean, and that's definitely what I also like the animation too. I think we should mention.
Yeah, it is very pretty animation.
It's really pretty, and I feel like we're getting a lot of. It's sort of getting to the point where, the thin lines and everything. It's such a trend now that I almost want to see it go back.
Yeah, it
sometimes,
will eventually.
but,
I think everything's cyclical, so.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing happens with like American cartoons right now. We're getting lots of very colorful shows where characters have very thin lines. Like Steven Universe. I mean, it's a really colorful show.
Yeah, right.
But back in like the early 2000s, or I guess you could just say the 2000s because now it's 2010s.
Yeah.
Like in the 2000s.
Yeah, that's crazy to think that 2010s are like on the backswing right now.
You had all these really thick lines show. Thick.
Extra thick.
Yeah. I was watching a bunch of Butch Hartman videos recently, and it's...
Oh, yeah, he does had that new Danny Phantom 10 years later one.
Yeah, another one.
I mean, it's like, it's like from his perspective, it's like, how about on my YouTube channel I make a video that has 1 million views, okay? I'll just do another Danny Phantom 10 years later.
Yeah. I watched an interview with him recently where he talked about the fact that, like, he knows that that's all people want.
Yeah.
It was with Andre Black Nerd, the Black Nerd Gaming, or whatever. I forget. I think it's like Black Nerd Comedy.
Yeah, right.
But he's like, yeah, everyone just loves Danny Phantom. He's like, I'll post a picture about, I'll post fan art of Timmy Turner, and everyone will be like, oh, this is cool. But when's Danny Phantom coming back?
Yeah,
and then
right.
he's like, you guys, I think he wants it back. He's like,
yeah, I mean,
he
he said,
like,
that he's open to working on the show, and I'm sure, for 10 years he's had good ideas.
Yeah, because the way he described it, he was like, yeah, we kept it going. It's 3 seasons, right? Or 4?
Yeah, 3.
He was like, we had it for 3 seasons, but, Nickelodeon was just like, it's been 3 decent seasons. We'll just buy it off you, and we'll just take it off the air. And he's like, now it gets played in reruns, and he's like, I feel like the fan base is even bigger now. People like really are still talking about it a lot.
Yeah, because like I think a lot of the fans that are still fans, and then you have the new generation that are like, hey, this is a good show. That's one good thing about it, is like it didn't like, what was it? It's like not dated. Like,
Yeah.
It's like very generic, so it's like very applicable to all times. So
Yeah, and I feel like it just it also kind of, not to the extent of like, a lot of people say that like Adventure Time is the one that kind of brought up the era of like arc shows that are still somehow 11 minutes and they're comedies,
yeah,
like
right.
Steven Universe's, and like, if not necessarily saying that like if it weren't for Adventure Time we wouldn't get Steven Universe. Well, maybe, because
No, yeah, I think that's actually pretty direct.
yeah, I think that's I think that's fair to say. But I feel like almost to an extent, Danny Phantom did something similar, whereas like an action show, but it was very also comedy based, and you had episodes that weren't necessarily about action or anything.
Yeah, right. It does a very balanced show. But
Yeah.
like,
And now I think that's like a very popular style where it's like it's a comedy, but it's also, got an overarching plot, and there's lots of action with it too.
mhm.
Like Steven Universe and like Gravity Falls and stuff. Those shows are very popular right now.
yeah,
That
right.
style of show. And I feel like Danny Phantom to a lesser extent had that style of, storytelling.
Yeah, and it was just a cool show anyway. Like, the idea was cool. I was like, a
Yeah.
superhero show, but like with something so different.
Yeah, Ghost Powers is a really cool idea. I remember when I was a kid, like I'd always think like, it's something that I think everyone wanted. Like when I was a kid, I was like, they should have a show where a guy has ghost powers. And then Danny Phantom came out, and I was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah, right.
this is awesome.
Yeah.
It's a really cool concept and everything.
Yeah, so
here's-
what were you saying about Butch Hartman, though? How you're watching this video?
Just that I was just thinking about thick lines and stuff. It's just cool to think that he wants it back too, and I think it'll
Yeah.
come back if the fans
Eventually,
want it
yeah.
enough.
I mean, the interest is there.
Yeah, it's definitely there, and I think Nickelodeon
If
is
they're
starting
like,
to pay attention to that stuff.
yeah, if they're like a smart business, then, and if like other shows show that they're profitable, that, I guess like the Hey Arnold movie, that should be like a good test for them.
Yeah,
because
we
it's,
definitely
like,
gotta go see that when
actually
it comes out.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's probably a TV movie of some sort.
yeah. I actually didn't watch Hey Arnold a ton when I was a kid, but I've heard it's a very good, pretty smart show.
Yeah, it's like
Deals with some serious subjects too at times.
Oh yeah, like it's surprising. It's just weird how it's like you wouldn't really think about like a show of just like a bunch of kids in like a generic city.
Yeah, just like living a like basic city life. But
Yeah, like in like this apartment building with crazy neighbors and like but it's just funny how like that show like took off, and it's like just really good, and yeah.
it has people that love it to this day. I think that's always the big thing for me, is like knowing that people will like shows that stick around in people's minds and people remember them.
Yeah, and that was another show that was like not dated, where it's like you don't like reference like the actual
The 90s and stuff.
Right. Yeah, so you just do generic stuff that'll be around. That's why I think that's one thing I don't like too much about the current cartoons, that I think they can be
Kind
pretty
of
dated.
a time of a thing of their time.
Yeah, or at least like some shows, like obviously the Powerpuff Girls with those fucking memes.
Yeah, I think one that's actually like a good show is like, I've only watched a little bit of it, but We Bare Bears is like, I enjoy that show.
Like, yeah,
But
I
it's
think it does
definitely
it well, but I think
20 years
it will
later,
still be dated.
it's kind of gonna be one of those shows people look back on and they're like, oh, that's what the 2010s were like, what
like,
I
I
mean?
think that's like the difference. Though, is like there's good shows that are dated, but then there's also bad stuff that is dated. So
Yeah.
I think We Bare Bears will be a good show still, but it'll still be dated. So
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things that people look back on and
be like, oh, that was cool, but boy, is
know,
that old.
yeah, exactly. And that happens a lot where people like something happens and it's just a product of the times. The best thing to do is like, don't try to do that with reboots, because it always fails to bring back a hip new reboot.
Yeah.
Like the Powerpuff Girls. It's
Oh,
like,
geez. Well, that show just doesn't have any love behind it.
yeah, it's just for marketing, just so they can get your boy Jeremy Scott to to get Moschino to do the overpriced clothing with Powerpuff Girls on it.
Oh yeah.
Fashion runway shit. That's my world.
Yeah,
The
right.
choir wrestler has no idea what I'm talking about
Nope.
right now.
Yeah,
There's this brand called Moschino, and it's like a fashion brand. Like I mean, like
Yeah.
runway level stuff, and they always do collaborations with cartoons.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And but it's like super expensive. It's funny because like the Pan Pizza was talking about it, and he's like, that's that brand that did that thing where they had gangster Looney Tunes, and it costs like $1,000. He's like, if you buy this, it just means you're scared to go to your local Mexican, airbrush artist who will just make you this for like $5. But it's funny because it kind of makes sense that it's like $1,000 because it's like it's gangster Looney Tunes, but it's like on real like cow cab on like some like Louis Vuitton level leather. So it's like it's weird to think about though that like. That's kind of the point of Moschino, though. It's like it's supposed to be a parody almost, but like I guess to parody high fashion, you have to be high fashion. It's like a weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
The fashion world is just weird.
I mean, high end art is just retarded usually.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those people who can like appreciate. Like I appreciate. I'm kind of into fashion, so I appreciate overpriced Gucci and stuff, but I understand why most people are like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Why are you just putting like, because there's like this Gucci t-shirt where it's like it just got Donald Duck on it, and I'm sure it's like $400 for that t-shirt.
Yeah. Right.
And it just says Gucci. It's got Donald Duck.
Gee, that's some stupid stuff.
It's funny because it's still on. Don't worry.
Yeah.
In thrift shop when Macklemore's like $50 for a limited Gucci t-shirt, that's some ignorant bitch shit. I'm like, if you can find me a $50 limited edition Gucci t-shirt, you better hit me up, Macklemore, because that's a fucking steal, man. Are you kidding me right now? That's probably the best fucking price I could ever get. It's that thing.
But it's still $50 for a t-shirt.
Hey, it's just weird because like when you get into fashion, like $50 t-shirts, to me that's like, whoa, that's nothing. Like I can realize that the average person is still like, come on, man. Like the fact that I probably have $90 t-shirts in my closet somewhere.
$90 t-shirts, holy.
Gotta live that Bape life.
Jesus.
But yeah.
No wonder you're not rich.
Yeah, I'm pretty poor right
even
now.
though you've been working for like years on end now.
Yeah. Community college, you can still work. So, anyways. We're almost at the 50-minute mark, so I think it'd be a good time to stop right now.
Yeah, right. I don't think people want to listen to your fashion shit.
Gay fan. I do, honestly, I would love to start a podcast where I talk about fashion with someone, but that's something that I would have to find someone that I could do that with and everything.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we could do a series where like we should do we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, you'll have we're really I'm laying on the cringe heavy right now.
Yeah, very cringy.
Very cringy. But you all, I think I've already given you guys a cringy day, so I don't have to tell you, but have a real cringy day.
Yeah, hopefully it'll last you the 2 weeks until our next episode.
Yeah, I really had to pile it on today. I'm going to be gone in a foreign country. I'm going to not be able to make you guys wince every weekend.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. But you all have a real cringy day. And we'll see you when I'm back.
Yeah, leave a dislike, share, and subscribe.
Leave a dislike, don't share, unsubscribe.
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah. Click the button twice, though. So you subscribe and then unsubscribe.
Yeah. Get my hopes up. We'll see you all later.